Every time you say, "Are you serious? Are you actually?" Everybody's watching you pivot because you can't answer a single fucking question.
That's me.
It is a pivot.
I can't believe that you're this. Destiny, is this your podcast? Do you pose the questions?
Yeah, this is my podcast. Why don't you pose a question?
Now, hold on. Every single one of us should be pissed off at Twitch for having a process like that.
It's actually shocking that you went to law school and you're making this argument.
Oh, I don't even know if it's racist, but it's the G word. What is that?
Just say it. I'll give you the G pass for this one, okay?
Wait. Great. Okay, let's start with that very top left of the screen, ladies and gentlemen, reigning from Los Angeles, California, Mr. Destiny!
Thanks for telling me when your shit-ass fucking show starts. I'm running around in the background here, Raj. I might have been fucking helicoptering my dick around for all you know. Why the fuck wouldn't you tell me the shit is going live?
We wouldn't have seen that anyway.
Yeah, really, Greek? You want to go with that one? But I guess you can't actually see your dick now for the first time in 20 years. Never mind.
Because if you were, the camera would be up here.
Sorry, what were you saying, Raj?
Why would you helicopter dick
you would have been on your booster seat.
Maybe I just like to do that in my free time.
Well, I mean,
and I was streaming, but I had the camera off on my stream, Raj. I do a lot of stuff in my apartment. That's why I live alone, so I can do crazy.
What else do you like to do in your free time?
I like to kick you off the show first, Kaceytron. I can't wait for this first round to be over. Holy shit!
I was just wondering.
Greek.
I just want to say you did a fantastic job on the show, by the way.
Thank you, Greek. I appreciate it. Greek is, I'll introduce you last. I've got a great introduction for you. Wes!
Yeah, I got to shout out my Runescape.
If Greek is not on the polls today, I'm fake DMCAing this stream. I'm just giving you a heads up.
Okay, all right, okay. Well,
wouldn't be the first time, would it?
Okay, all right, we're going to get to that, don't you? Okay. Minx introducing for the first time ever on the Rajj Royale podcast, TreeOfLogic. TreeOfLogic, introduce yourself, please, to the Rajj Royale podcast.
Logic, can you hear me?
Yeah, talk now. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Hi, I'm TreeOfLogic. I do politics. I'm a right-winger on YouTube. I do the Tree House News. And I'm one of the 2 affirmative action niggas that's here on this podcast today.
Okay, thank you very much. Welcome aboard.
Oh my God, she said it. She's gonna win.
Support affirmative action.
Raj, you can unclench your butt cheeks now.
Can we have Raj? Can we have a serious discussion? I think it's an unfair competitive advantage if the black people are allowed to say it and the white people can't on the stream.
Okay, we're not going to have that. We're going to have
that. Shouldn't be allowed on here, Raj.
No, we're not. We'll have that. We'll save that. That'll be the third topic of the day. In fact, we're actually going to talk about that later. To the right.
Okay.
To the right.
And unfair enforcement of the TOS.
Maybe I'm not going to cover.
Raj, can we just get this straight? All right. Can we just get this straight?
Yeah.
So we don't have to talk about this. No, white people can't say it. No, they shouldn't be allowed to say it in private. All right, that's it.
That is. That is not one of the topics that I have on the list today.
You don't want to run that one, Raj? Why not?
Just putting that shit out there, Raj.
I mean, it is one of the. What is your stance on that, Bruce? What is your stance?
He does want to run it.
Bruce, now that you mention it,
I'm not even about to dive into it. I just told you. I just set the standard.
Do you have a problem with Destiny's stance on this particular topic?
We're really going this
I'm just kidding. I'm joking.
We're really gonna do this.
All right, I'm done. All right. Okay. All right. I'm not going into it. I promise. I'm sorry.
My police officers.
Okay.
Right, my take.
Go ahead.
All right. They're a necessary evil. It's not a very hot take, right? Yeah, I would agree with Casey, actually, that like they're not actually out there to protect the people. They are actually there to enact the state's interests, and you know, we should have checks on the police officers, because right now they're able to run around willy-nilly and abuse their power without any sort of checks. Police unions are way too powerful. Yeah.
When we say
I think
what the state's interest. What is the state's interest? What do you mean by that?
I mean, like, they protect private property. They protect.
They protect you.
Wait. Should cops not be protecting private property? Who's supposed to?
Me.
Ourselves.
So if somebody breaks.
I mean, we could have a conversation if we want to abolish private property or not. I personally don't believe so.
But you're
right?
okay with somebody breaking into your house?
Hold on, one second.
Can I talk about a personal?
One sec, Kaceytron. Destiny, could you bring up your point? Because I think you got interrupted.
No, well, I'm just curious. What is the like? Cops defend private property. Well, yeah, if somebody's breaking into my house, I mean, I would want a cop to defend.
Me.
Mike, did you have a response to what MindWaves is?
Yeah, I mean, well, the Destiny said, what should the police do? Shouldn't they protect personal property? Have any of you actually had anything stolen?
No, private property. Actually, he didn't even make the distinction between personal and private.
Okay.
Stop! I didn't make the distinction between personal and private property because here when we say private property, we mean personal property. Nobody's talking about only capital. Nobody's talking about
I don't know.
Okay, wait. So
Don't
then
interrupt.
are you saying
Don't
that
interrupt, dumb shit.
if you call the cops on your fucking house that is being broken in, they're gonna be like, oh well, sorry, that's not like a revenue generating asset for you. I'm not gonna come and show up. Like, what do you mean? Well, of course, cops defend personal property.
Yes, okay, yeah.
Yes, I called the cops before because I thought somebody was breaking into my house. I called the cops to come to my house, and they came to my house.
They show up 2 hours later. They shrug their shoulders.
They didn't show up 2 hours later. They showed up in about 10 minutes in Omaha, Nebraska. Do you think cops take 2 hours to show up in every single district?
How about you call them in LA and say, hey, someone stole my iPad, and see how long it takes? Like,
yeah, because there's tiers. There's things that are much more important that are happening.
Well, no, because they can't find. Also, by the way, Los Angeles tops our list of most responsive cities with a reported average police response time of 5.7 minutes. What? So really bad example there. Firstly, secondly,
Destiny,
what is a cop going to do if my iPad gets stolen?
One sec, Greek.
How do you know that's
One sec, let him finish, Greek.
They don't do that.
How do you know it's correct,
As far as how effective the police are in protecting us, in fact, they're one of the biggest threats to our personal safety. 1,000 Americans were killed by police last year. In Germany, that number is 1 person. So that shows you how extreme the use of force is in this country.
No, it doesn't show you anything because the other question you have to ask is how many people were. No, it doesn't. You have to ask how many people were protected by police.
Are you actually defending the use of force in the United States as proportional?
I didn't say it was proportional, but you cited one number. You said that 1,000 Americans were killed.
It's a first world country where they run things much better than we do, and people aren't shot and killed by the police all the time.
I bet that country also doesn't have more. I bet that country doesn't.
I know you agree with this, Destiny, that we have an incredibly biased criminal justice system that puts.
Yeah, we're not talking. Why are you pivoting?
That's part of it.
Why are you pivoting?
Why are
you pivoting?
It's not a pivot. It's
You're pivoting. We're not talking about the whole criminal justice system. The question very specifically was, do police protect people in the United States? You cited the fact that police kill people in the United States.
Justice system.
That's not the question, Mike.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
The
question wasn't, is the entire criminal justice system corrupt? The question was, do police help people?
Shit.
Okay.
Yeah, holy shit is right. Everybody's watching you pivot in real time, Mike. Slow down. You're going to break your fucking ankle.
Now, hold on, Mike. Can you, Mike, before you...
I'm telling you, you are. You got to answer the question that Destiny is basically presenting to you.
Hey, what is this? The fascist lib meetup?
Look at the ad homs he runs to. Holy shit!
Fascist.
Oh my god!
All right. Anyways, let's continue the conversation. Mike, you were in the middle of an engagement with Destiny. Do you want to continue that? Destiny was accusing you of
I just want to
pivoting.
know, how many people do you think police save every year? If they kill 1,000 a year, how many do they save?
Wait, are you actually going to do this calculation where we know there are other policing regimes around the world where it's way more effective than the United States?
Mike, do you think that the type of population... Mike, wait. You keep trying to draw a one-to-one comparison between the police in the U.S. versus the police, and you use Germany as an example. Do you think there are as many firearms on the street in Germany as there are in the United States?
Or
Sure, or the UK.
Switzerland, or any other fucking first world country,
in any other countries, you call me a dummy, in any other countries, do they have as many firearms there per capita as we do in the United States?
Switzerland, they do. And guess
really?
what?
And are those guns out on the
people left and right?
Are those guns out on the street in Switzerland the same way they are in the United States?
Are you actually asserting that most
every single time you say, are you actually? Everybody here in the audience can see you pivot.
Are you serious right now?
Every time you say, are you serious? Are you actually? Everybody's watching you pivot because you can't answer a single fucking question.
That's me.
It is a pivot.
I can't believe that you're this stupid.
I'll ask you really clearly.
I thought you were
do
good
you
at
think that the
debating.
firearm? No, this is great, Mike. So you're going to tell me there's not a firearm problem in the U.S. You're actually okay with that? You don't want gun control? You don't want any of that shit?
That's a pivot, Destiny. A pivot away from the point I'm making.
I asked you a very specific question. Do you think the presence of firearms in the hands of criminals in the United States is the same as the presence of firearms in the hands of criminals in other countries?
Wait, wait.
You can't answer it. I'm done. Somebody else
I'm answering the question, but you keep interrupting because you're so nervous.
I'm not nervous at all. This is an easy conversation. I've had this debate a million times with people way smarter than you, Mike. This is a really easy conversation.
Okay. Mike, hold on, Mike. Mike, you're alleging that Destiny is not responding to your question, correct?
That's. He keeps interrupting me every time.
Okay, so why don't you? And Destiny's claiming.
You keep saying, "Are you actually?"
I
and
think
then you
you're
move
right.
away
I think
from
Destiny could
just
be
giving Destiny a straight
emasculated
answer,
by
which should
you.
be pretty easy, right?
So basically, the question is, wait, the 1,000 deaths from police officers in the United States is it, Mike? You have to calculate the number of people that are saved. Do you have that number, Destiny? Or is that
no,
just
I don't. But I didn't present that number as evidence for why the police are destructive. You said police are destructive because they kill X number of civilians per year. That number alone is not good enough. You need to weigh that against the number of lives held.
That's why I'm offering the other information of other first world country policing regimes where they have lower crime rates and they kill less people.
But
the problem is the presence of firearms. So
Richard, go. Richard, I want Richard to go ahead.
No. So you cited the number of firearms. You cited the number of firearms in other countries. In Switzerland, they have 27.6 estimated number of firearms per 100 persons. In the United States, it's 120.5.
Right.
So we have five times as many guns here.
We have 5 times as many guns. Do we have 5 times as many police shootings per capita?
That's not how that works, Mike.
And who
you think the proportion of deaths in the United States should be the proportion of firearms that exist?
Wikipedia Andy, the people that own the guns.
Why are you calling me Wikipedia Andy? I just maybe if you knew Wikipedia, you wouldn't be throwing out wrong facts, Mike. Why would you make fun of somebody looking at something on Wikipedia when you're literally inventing fact right in front of us? Also, you still haven't answered my original question.
Which
I learned in high school, Wikipedia isn't a valid source.
Yeah, apparently Mike did too when he's fucking throwing out a whole bunch of bullshit ass numbers and he's scared of getting called out on them.
So let me get this straight. You presume that the police shootings are justified because of a number of people saved that you don't know.
I can't believe
and
this
you
is
don't
so
believe in comparative sociology where you look at different first world countries that have similar situated populations. Like
they're
Canada.
not similar, Mike. I just
look
proved
at
that.
Canada.
There are more
Look at
firearms
Canada.
in the U.S.
Canada.
than any other country. How many firearms does Canada have per person?
Having more doesn't mean that necessarily means that the police shootings are justified. You haven't
not necessarily
a correlation that you haven't connected. You have failed to do the legwork.
No,
okay, Mike, you're the one that's failed to do the legwork. When you say
Destiny, can you let Richard get in?
I'm done. He can't answer a single fucking question to say.
Well, I want to.
You don't.
MindWaves, let him finish. Let him finish.
I'm not going to go after them and cry and tone police them like somebody like MindWaves here.
Tone policing.
What is tone policing? Wait. What does tone police mean?
That is not tone policing.
Yeah, wait. What is tone
policing? Saying that something is ineffective because of the.
Even tone police is bastards as well, I'm told.
So that's
true.
When he's trying to tell people the way to say something so it's more effective, like he fucking knows what he's talking about. He's a dipshit. Because
we're not talking about the way to say something, though. We're talking about whether or not ACAB is good or bad, period. Not the way that you ACAB. That's what tone policing means. Tone policing is when somebody makes an argument and they do it in an emotional way and you say, hey, make that argument a little bit more chill, dude. That's tone policing.
Wait, didn't you just say that you didn't know what tone policing was?
Who, me?
Yeah, you were like, what's tone policing?
No, I asked him because I wanted him to say what tone policing is.
I was just wondering if you were lying.
Tone policing, but he's not tone policing here.
Okay, all right. Tree, did you want to get in here? You wanted to say something, didn't you?
Yeah, I think Mike is one of these lily white men who live in their lily white house in their lily white community with their very low lily white crime, and they don't have to worry about the police. So therefore, they can sit on their high throne and try to comment about people who actually need the police because basically he lives in a low crime area, so he can sit up here and talk shit about the cops when you have people who actually need the fucking cops. How white privilege of you?
Wait, only black people need cops now? What the fuck kind of argument is this dumb shit?
I'm talking about Mike. I'm talking about
come on, you're being so incredibly cringe about this. You attacked the guy for ad hom, and then your entire point, which wasn't the point,
what the fuck
is just calling him a privileged white bitch.
Because that is.
I thought it was conservatives that hated identity politics, and the first thing you go to is id poll. Nice, good job.
Hey, it's a good point. A lot of people that are in areas, like I hear people say the same shit about homeless people all the time. We're like, why would you ever call the cops on a homeless person? Blah, blah. I don't know. Have you ever been walking down the street and some guy walks up to you and starts fucking screaming at you, and you're like on your way home and you're fucking alone? That's some real scary ass shit. It's really obvious sometimes when people make arguments.
I lived in cities for like.
Think about calling the cops before, and you say to me, you're like, oh yeah, cops, that's only privilege shit. Like no one should ever call or cops are only for racism. Like cops don't do anything good ever. They're just bad. They just defend private property. Like motherfucker, people call the cops for legitimate reasons all the fucking time. You call the cops for domestic abuse things. You can call the cops for child protective services. You can call the fucking cops if people are breaking into your fucking shit or if fights are happening. Like there's a lot of decent reasons to call the police.
Okay. Cocaine is cheap. It enters the system very fast, and it was basically affecting the behavior of people who took it, and it was actually infiltrated into the black community, and it was affecting black people way more than cocaine. Cocaine is expensive. Black people in the inner cities couldn't afford cocaine. They could afford crack, and therefore
Wait, what did she just say that?
Have you been born in a hood? I'm sorry, Mike. What hood did you come from?
He from my hood. Mike from my hood. Mike from my hood.
What are you talking about?
Mike from
Why don't
my
you focus
hood.
on the arguments
Yeah.
instead
What
of
part
me?
did I lie about?
I lived in
What part?
cities
Please tell me
and
what
high
part I lied
crime
about.
neighborhoods for 15 fucking years. So why don't
Just-
you relax? and
Mike from
focus
my
on
I'm
hood.
your
sorry. Tell me
own
what part did I
arguments.
lie about?
Well,
About-
if I can just make a point really quickly.
Well, I think Mike should have to say what part she just
What
lied
Mike's
about.
saying isn't actually.
It's just laws on the books.
Yeah, I was
Wait,
going-
I'm
Well,
really
whoever said
curious.
that,
What did
it's-
Tree just say that was
you can't,
wrong?
You can't use that example anymore. Because
Crack cocaine is
doesn't
cheaper than
exist
powder
anymore.
cocaine, isn't it?
Yes, it's 100%.
Of course it's
What's the
cheaper,
difference?
but it's the same high. It's the same underlying.
Have you
drug.
done crack and cocaine? What the fuck are you talking about? How do you know what the high
Apparently
is?
he has, and he must be from the goddamn Comptons.
What are
like
you
that,
talking
because he
about,
knows what
Central
the fuck
Committee?
he's talking about.
Candy, you said
It's
don't do
cooler-
drugs. But Casey just literally, like, she's smoking weed. That is drugs. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
but it's legal. It's legal. She has the
So if it's
recipe.
legal, it's okay.
She has a recipe.
Yeah, it's legal. Yeah, it's legal. It's okay. We do a lot of alcohol in Sweden. That's okay. But you
Wait, but in
shouldn't do-
Sweden, weed is still illegal. So shouldn't you be
Yeah,
saying to Kaceytron
No,
that
for,
it's not okay?
where Kaceytron is, it's legal. Like in California, I think like weed is under control, right? But
Okay, so
and
if you
where
do
she is-
crack, just do crack in places where it's legal. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, but it's never legal. I don't think it's legal. That's like it's illegal everywhere. Oh, the only drugs that are ever legal is weed and alcohol, right?
There's got to be
So
some
those
third
are
world
fine,
country
but
where it's
where
legal to
they're-
do like
Not even
fucking
third
fentanyl
world.
or some shit.
Drugs are
Portugal
decriminalized in
decriminalized all
Portugal.
drugs
Yeah,
in
yeah.
Portugal.
I was gonna say, Richard, we're gonna get to that.
Rajj Royale, Jesus. Stop
I'll be
her.
honest, Destiny, when you debated with Tree Life, I thought she was clueless, but I think she's fucking a genius after this.
I think
I mean,
everything-
anybody sounds like a genius next to a commie, my dude.
Vote for you want to keep, not kill.
Well, of course, when they're policing those communities disproportionately, you're going to see a higher crime rate, right?
Isn't the crime disproportionately higher in those communities?
Yes, it is.
So wouldn't the police disproportionately patrol those areas?
Fucking hell, dude.
Yes, no, you're. Oh my god, owned. MindWaves, I'm sorry, you can leave. Bye.
Does anybody,
Good thing you
MindWaves, do you
kept
have a
on. So-
response?
so-
Or Destiny, do you want to respond to that? Because
Yeah, okay, so the response is that even if some communities disproportionately commit crimes higher than other communities, it sucks that the result of our policing is a disproportionate enforcement of things that affect everybody more or less equally. So for instance, way more black people get sent to jail for smoking weed than white people, even though we do it at about similar rates. So at the end of the day, when you look at the composition of like who's in jail, it's like, damn, all these black people are getting fucked for smoking when white people do it just as much, just because they happen to be in communities that are policed more. I think it leaves a pretty bad feeling and a bad taste in everybody's mouth, I guess you'd say.
All of these statistics on crime come from where the police are actually spending their time. So no fucking duh, if they spend a disproportionate amount of time in black neighborhoods versus white neighborhoods, it's going to be skewed in favor of crime in black neighborhoods if less time is being spent to even catch crime in white neighborhoods.
Exactly, but that's like a complaint that people have. So for instance, on Twitch, we complain that if you're a big streamer and you break a rule, you get nailed immediately. Every fucking time you get nailed. But there are all these smaller streamers that can break a lot of rules and they don't get caught as much. We're like, oh, well, but the reality is that as a bigger streamer, you've got people that are ready to report you way fucking quicker.
You
So
can
like
get away
you
with a
might,
ton of
yeah,
shit.
so like we can explain why something happens, but that doesn't make it feel less shitty or maybe make it feel less wrong, right?
You can't just say the majority are racist.
Raj,
That's-
can I bring up a topic that's related to this?
Yeah, so it would depend. What
so,
is it?
Fuck off, Raj. I'm doing it anyway.
What is
so
it?
Mike brings up the point when he was talking about ACAB that it's not every police officer specifically racist, but just police in general are reinforcing a racist system.
Okay.
Does everyone else believe with that?
Is
that like, do you think that police in general, like the police system, is racist?
So like the idea is that we can live in a society and exist within a structure that reinforces a shitty idea without any individual person reinforcing a shitty idea. So for instance, like we probably agree that porn is somewhat sexist because it appeals to men. But do we say that porn stars are sexist, or that all producers are sexist, or that all websites are sexist, or that they serve a broader market that as an entire structure kind of reinforces the idea that like mainly women get fucked on camera, that mainly it appeals to men, right? You don't necessarily have to call the individual actor sexist the same way that we wouldn't call every single individual police officer a bastard or racist, but we could say that as a larger whole, it seems like the criminal justice system bends towards a certain like discriminatory fashion, and that people need to be aware of that. Yeah.
Isn't this something that you and Hassan will always talk about? Systemic racism, right? Is that what it is?
Yeah, kind of, but I feel really strongly about like the entire criminal justice system. Other people seem to just want brownie points for shitting on cops, and then make really dumb arguments like saying like, oh, you should never ever call a cop. So for instance, like Hassan says you should never call the police ever, even if you're a woman about to get raped, because he wouldn't do it, right? Hassan says, well, what if that guy's an illegal immigrant? Yeah, he says like, what if that guy is like an illegal immigrant? Maybe and they're not trying to rape you. Maybe they'll get like sent to jail and then sent to ICE or whatever, right?
And you know what? I want to say something.
Did he say that? I don't know. Did he say that?
Wait.
Desi, I'm in the middle here. I'm going to get a text.
No, you're right.
I'm going to get a text later. Can you please make sure that is exactly what he said? I want to make sure.
Yeah, he did say that. Can we fact check that?
Some leftists say that. Okay,
some leftists, please don't bring Hassan into this, okay? Because I do not.
Don't talk about Hassan when he's not here to defend himself.
I cannot verify that he said that. Okay, I'm in the middle of this. Okay, it's like a divorce.
You don't mention somebody else, mate. That's one warning for you, Destiny.
Yeah, thank you, Greek. I appreciate that. Give him a warning.
Thanks for keeping me honest, Greek.
If somebody's gonna be charged, shouldn't they? The article was implying that both should be charged and not just the female. Both should be charged.
Well, not to mention how
what
weird
if they
this
just
is. Like,
remove
what about when
nipples
women
at
like?
Birth?
Yeah, because I'm gonna say like, what about like women that breastfeed their kids? Like, is that like this is like a really silly?
Also, there's like nude.
You know what?
There's also nude beaches where kids are there, and sometimes women are topless, and there's kids on the same beach.
Yeah, but
all it says is when word got out, and I don't know
what happened. Okay, so what happened?
Oh, did you?
How this got reported was she's the stepmother of 3 children. She had her breasts out because they were installing drywall. I get it. The children said, "Why have you got your breasts out?" She said, "Well, why shouldn't I? We're at home, and I'm a feminist, and blah blah blah." And then they went home and told the mother about the incident, and the mother reported it to the police.
Yeah. So
okay, Tree. She was in her own house. You might have some point if it was public, but it's in her own house. She could who gives a fuck? As long
Why
as there
was she
no
showing them to
sexual
her
attention
stepkid?
going to the children.
Wait, does being in your house matter? Wait, so if I run around and with my dick and I'm in my own house, or if somebody runs around with their boobs in their own house, it's different than like public. Like one is never sexual. Like in your house, you can never be sexual. What does that mean?
Wait. You think the standard should be that if you're at your own home, you're not?
You're the one that said it. You said that women in your house can't be sexual.
Criminally charged.
This is so intense.
Well, Central imagine if Melina would run around with her boobs out in front of Destiny's Child. Would that be good? That would be a little creepy,
being
right?
Broadcast and it's against the
it would be.
So,
not broadcasted, just happening in real life. Like, wouldn't that be a little?
She was walking around with her shirt off. I mean, it depends on the context.
What's wrong with that?
Wait, I'm
super
curious. Wait, so Mike, do you think that my girlfriend should be allowed to just walk around with her kids running out or whatever around my 8-year-old son? Do you think that's okay?
I mean,
answer the fucking question, Mike. Answer the fucking question.
Okay, so I'll take it in. Why can't anybody just have a position? Is it okay or not? Are breasts sexual in the house? Because this is the same thing we're talking about. Is whether or not
just own it, Mike. Just say that's totally okay.
I said as long as there's no sexual attention going between her and the kids, and there's no sexual involvement.
What? Yeah. Would you compromise your beliefs for sex?
Yes.
Like everyone does that on a daily basis, don't they?
It depends. When you say
what do you mean by that?
Yeah, when you say compromise, do you mean like fuck somebody with a different political opinion, or you mean like you have to go out and publicly say that you support Nazism in order to fuck me? Like, what do you mean by compromise our beliefs?
Well, I mean, would you have intercourse with somebody that had a different point of view, or maybe perhaps? Hold on.
What? That's literally every other human.
Hold on. Excuse me. Hold on.
Go look at the list of Destiny's conquests.
Let me
to know that he fucking do that.
Let me clarify.
Under that definition.
Let me clarify. Would you have sex with somebody that is a racist, for example? Would you do that?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's the question. When you're fucking people, you're not going to be at the club and you're like, hey, do you have the same beliefs as me? You want to fucking kill someone? You want to start?
What do you think about Trump?
No, they're like, no, yeah, you like Trump? No, oh, we're gonna fuck, and I'm gonna go against my beliefs. You bad fucking boy.
I wouldn't fuck a Trump supporter.
Yeah, what she's saying is like actually true. Like the way that we relate to people is like it really depends. Like outside of fucking Twitch, like when you talk to an average person, or if you're like on Tinder or some shit, like you're not gonna be like, hey, so just curious, like who'd you vote for last election cycle? Like I don't know, like it's possible you could fuck somebody with like pretty fucked up beliefs, but you just wouldn't know. Like you don't ask everybody, like what did you think about the Third Reich?
Okay, what if you did? What if you did know?
I know.
Wait, Mike, if you're not a tankie, then why do you have the tankie emote? Or is that just grifting?
Making fun of you dumb fuck centrists who can't tell the difference between
Pivoting.
Wait, isn't that what PewDiePie does?
Making fun of you, dumb waves.
How can we say that
bottom
PewDiePie?
two every round?
So grifting.
No, because I'm looking, right?
How do we hold
so this is
PewDiePie
the point,
accountable
right?
for what
So
he does when
one
he
at a
uses
time.
like the literal Soviet fucking font and everything and all the Soviet fucking colors?
Soviet font.
Yeah,
they spoke Russian.
You have the Soviet font. You use red and yellow as the coloration on your Twitch channel.
Red is literally the color of mainstream labor movement on the left. You're dumb. You're too fucking stupid.
Wait,
the
red
way that you're
combined
saying
with
that-
the
it's
Soviet
just-
Union font has
Hold on,
nothing
hold
to do
on.
with each other?
They're
It's
just
a coincidence.
I don't know if that's really a road you want to go down,
search
friend.
red. Yeah, there's some communists use red, but so do a lot of the labor movement.
Hold on.
Wait, I actually just Googled. I looked for labor movement United Kingdom. Where's all this Soviet iconography and text
There
that they
isn't
use in
any.
the UK? They call themselves comrades all the time, right? Where am I supposed to find like all these signs that
Did
use
I
the same
say
color text?
Soviet? Well, you're claiming something Soviet iconography, but you don't have anything.
Well, I mean, like, if I were to Google, so let's Google Soviet font. Do you think that the stuff that I would find would look pretty similar to what's on your site?
I have.
You don't know? You just
What does
randomly
that
just
mean?
wait. I'm curious.
What does
How
that
did you-
mean? Soviet font.
I'm
Listen,
curious.
to this
Well, you can
fucking
Google it if you
shit.
need to, Mike. I know
Look
that you
at
want to
this
just ask
dumbass.
questions because you can't. So, how did you choose the font and everything for your Twitch page?
It's a socialist font because I.
Oh,
consider
it's just a
myself
social. So, what other
democratic socialist or a
socialist?
social
What other
democrat.
socialist movements today around the world use this font that people would associate it with?
It's called Future Socialism. It's a fucking font that was made very recently. Like what? So what's the tankie font? Democratic Socialists, Social Democrats are not tankies, you stupid fucks.
I never said social democrats.
Greek, let him swear. Let him swear.
If I look at the Social Democrat Party in Sweden, they're going to be using like this type of font, the red and the yellow and all, and the hammer stick and all that. I'm going to find that there.
First of all, I never use the hammer and sickle.
Never?
No, I don't.
Okay, good. That's good that you don't.
So what are you talking? And by the way, there's plenty of parties, for example, in India, who use the hammer and sickle, who have no connection whatsoever to the Soviet Union or China. But this is, I know, this requires you to know shit about politics more than what's on MSNBC.
What does that have to do with your economic?
What does it have to do with the reason why you chose your font? The Communist Party that you're talking about in India, by the way, are completely politically relevant. I think they have like 2 seats in their entire parliament, and they do adhere to Marxist-Leninist theory. So, I mean, I feel like that's not like the best.
No,
got him.
That's not it. That's not it at all. They're amazing.
Wait, what did I just say? That's not it at all.
Got him.
That's not it. They're
What's
not
not it?
Soviet. They're not tankies. Tanky is a very. I mean, I know this point is tough for your brain.
What is Marxism-Leninism, Mike? You're the
Hold on, I'm trying to listen.
Hold on, 1 second.
Can we shut the fuck up? Can we shut these guys up?
Yeah,
for a second? Go back to the
Mike,
real
you have the
question.
floor.
Yeah.
Let me make an accusation that's relevant to the.
Oh,
question,
he's not going to answer the question.
Which is the grifter thing.
Oh, no.
I think I've
there is
the
the pivoting Mike.
Here's the difference between me and MindWaves. MindWaves comes on, he cries about his brand. And he's never done a fucking thing to organize for the left.
You
There's
even
the
agreed
pivot.
that everybody on Twitch cares about their brand. It's not. You can't use caring about your brand as like try to accuse me of like grifting, Mike. Okay.
Would be MindWaves, which is why when he's talking to me one-on-one, he's practically on his knees. But now that he has Destiny and a whole bunch of other people to try to back him up, cowardly MindWaves.
Look at him pivot. Look at Mike pivot away.
Jump behind. That's why you're fucking grifter. Now me,
let the record show. Mike didn't answer any questions.
I have done the things, and then not only that,
Mike still didn't answer what Marxist-Leninism is. By the way, just reminding you that. Go ahead.
Mike,
Destiny, is this your podcast? Do you pose the questions?
Yeah, this is my podcast. Why don't you pose a question?
Now, hold on. I want to make everybody clear here. It is everybody's. This is a community.
Sent the left good on my podcast. I don't do that.
I literally don't know.
That's why when you had your podcast and Destiny left to have a conversation with me, you had nobody watching because you don't do anything for the left.
Mike, you don't have any viewers unless I'm talking to you either. Why would you bring
I
that
had
up?
way more viewers than you did during that conversation. All right.
Also, I will say, I remember Mike explicitly saying when he was talking about knowing better, Mike explicitly said, that's what a man looks like. And then when he brought up MindWaves, he's like, just a pissant.
That's
You
not
deny saying that?
And also, like, you
That's not a
call
time.
yourself
When you wait,
central-
Mike, I
Really?
want to hear this. Wait, I want to hear this real clearly. So, Mike, when you say that's what a man looks like, this guy over here, he's just a pissant. You don't think that's an attack on somebody's masculinity?
Destiny. Wait. Let me get this straight. Woke skull Destiny. If somebody says man, that automatically means toxic masculinity?
Not automatically, but when you say this is what a man looks like, do you think that's
He's
not an?
pivoting.
I'm curious. For the other people here, Candyland, can I ask you? Wait.
Maturity and
If
intelligence.
somebody were to say to somebody, "This is what a man looks like," this guy over here, he's just a pissant. Does that sound like he's saying the guy's like?
I'm a man.
Does it sound like an attack on somebody's masculinity? I'm curious.
I think that I kind of like when people are using those words like that's what a man looks like.
Because it refers to their masculinity, right?
Candy, why do you like that?
Yep. Amen, brother. Thank you, Candy.
Man should or should not act like, all right?
I already told you it was about your intelligence and emotional maturity, and you keep pivoting back to the masculinity.
Why? Whoa! Why is being a man synonymous with intelligence?
Adulthood? That's what man means. It means an adult human
Why
being.
would you say man? Why not just say an adult? Why are you? This is called
Because
toxic
knowing
masculinity.
better
by the way.
identifies
Identifies
as a man.
porn every time we say man.
Like, holy
Are you
fuck.
going to deny that you're not reinforcing gender stereotypes by saying that?
Oh no.
You're just going to pretend that that's not the
Holy
case?
shit.
Whether or not you intended
This is why
it?
you're a grifter, because you don't know what any of these terms mean. And
You don't know what any of
That's
these
not what a
mean.
grifter means! Oh my fucking god!
I think-
Fucking click, yeah, sure,
You
buddy.
consider yourself a leftist, by the way? I'm just wondering.
In America, yeah, but in the way that you're using the term, like a socialist or a Marxist-Leninist, definitely not.
Destiny's not a fucking leftist. He's on the left, but he's not a leftist.
Gatekeeper. MindWaves the
Well, it depends on how you
gatekeeper.
use the definition. In an international sense, people usually use lefty to refer to somebody that's actually like a socialist or at least a democratic socialist. But sock dems aren't commonly referred to as leftists. It really depends on what you mean by that word.
You have to at least be anti-capitalist to be a leftist.
Yep, some
right?
people would say that. So I would not be a leftist in that sense.
So,
Mate, I don't know half these words mean, to be
I mean,
honest.
none of this shit fucking matters.
Well, of course not, because you're wrong on every single point. So of
I
course
haven't
it
been
doesn't
wrong on a
matter.
single
I agree
one.
with Mike. I
Destiny
think he's
not
doing
doing
great.
MindWaves hangs off his cock all 24/7.
You
trying to
cited
pick up
when
grifter
I asked
views.
you for an example of somebody else.
I
that
gave
used
it, and you were
iconography.
wrong about it. You said
What
they
was I
have
wrong
16
about?
They have 19. MindWaves, the literal only reason you're still here was you were bottom vote getter, and Destiny kept you. So that's
Aw.
literally.
Mike, you're
the
literally
only reason.
streaming
Shut
right
the
now
fuck
trying to
up.
farm votes from your fucking audience. Are you fucking serious? Of course you're
Destiny,
fucking
you
here.
do the same thing on Destiny.
Mike,
Destiny,
streaming during the
Destiny, you do the same thing.
What?
You do the same fucking
What's
thing.
going on here?
Are you doing that? That's illegal.
Destiny, you do the same thing.
That is a breach of contract!
Fucking liar.
And I
what
love
a
it.
fucking Weasley liar,
I
dude.
don't stream while I'm on the show. That is not true.
He's not
You link
streaming
your
right
shit,
now.
dude.
And so this was me not knowing the unspoken rules, and I'm sorry about that.
Right.
Mate, it's
Well,
okay, but this is your
I
last
feel as
warning.
if
Wait.
This is your last
really
warning.
important. This isn't about whether or not you knew the rules. It was the idea that you sat here and made fun of MindWaves for barely hanging on. Well, of course, he's not streaming right now, farming votes from his audience. Also, you have Hassan's Discord posting the poll in there for you as
Okay,
well.
all right.
So don't sit here and pretend like it's just
Oh my God, this is a controversy.
fucking rounds. That is
Okay,
not true.
now I want to make it clear. Hold on, I want to make this very clear. Data that we have collected here at Rajj Studios suggests that streamers, with the exception of Destiny, their communities do not really influence the polls, unless you're Destiny's community. In which
because
case,
Destiny has a one separate where they
This
can
is
all
all
group up
fucking
and talk
rigged,
together
mate.
and watch.
People
This
do
is all
this on
fixed.
Discord all the time. We can go through a lot of
And
there's a lot of
LSF.
different streamers that do this. It's
They brigade.
impossible to police.
A lot
It's
of
impossible
streamers
to police.
brigade.
It is impossible to police. Of course, I'm not saying that it's wrong or you shouldn't do it. I know people are going to do it no matter what. I'm just saying it's a little rich to say that, like, oh, the only reason you're here is because you barely hang on, when you're literally trying your hardest to farm votes from, like, multiple Discord servers. I'm just saying it's a little bit kind of strange to go that route.
Wait,
I didn't
are
think
you
of going that route.
Wait, are
Destiny,
you
Destiny.
personally
So
trying
what's
to
your
farm
excuse
votes
of?
like that?
Hang on. What's your excuse for your link getting posted everywhere, Destiny, when it's voting time?
I've got a confession
Yeah,
to make.
people might
I
have-
am the
yeah,
one
people post
posting
mine
the
for sure,
link
of
in
course.
Hassan's Discord.
Okay.
Actually, speaking of grifting, there's only been one other person that did this before on the Rajj Royale. Do you remember what that was, Raj?
Oh, I gotta try to remember.
It was Bad Bunny.
Oh. Okay, all right.
I guess I'm learning on this.
Okay, all right. We gotta get to the next topic. I had a topic written down, but I fucking forgot it, so I'm gonna have
politics?
to. I'm gonna have to. No, it's not politically involved. It's actually about DMCAing. Oh my goodness. This is a highly contested. This is a topic that we must get into. Why isn't it on my list? It should be on my list of topics. Let me see. No, it's not. Oh my God, this is a tragedy. Recently, I just want to let you know. Okay, so recently, I'm gonna just go off the top of my head here.
Go off the top.
Recently, Bad Bunny streamers, Bad Bunny, and Central Committee, aka Mike from PA over here, were banned for 24 hours for a quote-unquote alleged fake DMCA claim from somebody claiming to be a representative of NBC who was holding the presidential debate. And they were both banned for 24 hours. As you all know, 3 DMCA claims means you are automatically banned from the platform. So the question, we could speak. Mike, I want to hear your point first, and then we can open up to the topic, your perspective first, because I think it's important because you were involved in it. And then we'll move on from there with our line of questioning. Go ahead, Mike.
All right. So everybody who streams on this platform should be extremely unhappy with the way Twitch handles DMCA claims. Right now, like the person who claimed to represent NBC was obviously not from NBC. They didn't even fill out the form all the way. All it takes is somebody swearing under penalty of perjury that they own the content, and then the automated system kicks in. And that is absolutely outrageous and insane. And every single one of us should be pissed off at Twitch for having a process like that.
So just as a check real quick here, it's actually shocking that you went to law school and you're making this argument. This is what you have to do, as every single company does.
No, you don't.
Totally this is what YouTube does. This is what Streamable does. This is what Facebook does. This is what Twitter does.
That's standard practice.
I know that this is
have to do it.
It's standard practice because nobody wants to risk losing the safe harbor protections afforded to them under the DMCA. And
all right, so wait. So you're
oh my god,
you're comfortable with any troll getting a Gmail account and DMCAing, say, your account, and
he's not saying that. What he's saying is,
I'm not comfortable with you telling them all what to do and probably getting us all reported now.
But the solution
there's literally nothing Twitch can do. They have to follow the DMCA.
But if you read the DMCA, I know if you guys read the DMCA, it says expeditiously. It doesn't say instantaneously or automated.
So what should they have to do?
How many Twitch partners are there?
Over 20,000. But what should they have to do to follow a DMCA?
How many Twitch partners get DMCA claims per day?
I don't know.
Probably none. Probably 1 or 2 max. They can look it over as soon as they get it and say, "Hey, is this actually a legitimate claim?" And then they can.
How would you determine if it was a legitimate claim?
Seeing if it's actually filled out. Number one.
Firstly, you don't know if it was filled out all the way. You don't know if they forward you all of the information for that.
I'm the one who got it. And I'm the
you don't see what Twitch sees on the back end, so you don't know.
Maybe he has inside connections.
Okay, maybe he has an inside connection. But secondly, you could still fake a DMCA claim just as well, whether they look at it or not. What are they going to do?
At least make them seem plausible, as opposed to the extremely low bar that they have now. Why do you want to? This would not be that expensive for Twitch to provide.
Firstly, for them to hire.
I can't believe you want to expose yourself to this kind of risk. It makes no fucking sense.
Let me know when you're done with the fake outrage. So this is shitty, but it's shitty because of the U.S. government and because of how safe harbor works. Every single other major tech company follows this procedure. You can shake your head all you want, but I filed DMCAs on all of these platforms, so I know what the procedure is. Okay,
I know you and your community filed DMCAs. Twitter, that's the second part of this conversation.
Sure, that's fine. We can talk about any of my DMCAs. All of them are totally fucking valid. If you want to challenge a single one, we can go over any single one you want. Since you seem to know nothing about this, I'd love to talk about it at length. So every single other major tech company follows this exact same procedure when it comes to filing DMCAs. The risk for YouTube or Google or for Facebook or for Twitch to say a legitimate claim that comes forward, and by the way, you have to swear under penalty of perjury when you file these that you are legitimate. For them to say, well, hold on, I don't actually think you're legitimate. For them to open themselves up to that liability is incredibly fucking scary. If you lose your safe harbor and you deal in live video content, your entire company goes bankrupt.
You're literally so you basically, just because there's a standard practice on other platforms
that's ubiquitous.
That is not what the law says has to happen. And I'm not saying they shouldn't act expeditiously. They should act very quickly when there's a proper DMCA claim made.
And having to have a manual review.
Manual review. Again, there's not that many DMCA claims made against Twitch partners.
You don't know that. How could you possibly know that?
Because it was automated and it happened instantaneously. As soon as the
fact that something is automated means it probably does happen a lot. That's literally evidence against your claim. How do you know that not many Twitch partners are getting DMCA'd? You have no idea.
Okay. Because if it's automated, they get banned immediately. How many Twitch partner bans are there? So when a DMCA claim is made, you're immediately banned for 24 hours. How can you not understand this very simple factual claim.
Well, let me explain it to you, since you don't seem to know anything about law or tech. So just because something is an automated process doesn't mean it's completely automated through and through. It could be that the DMCA process is automated, but there might be one person at the end that signs off on the banning of a channel, especially in the case of a partnered streamer, where we do have a different set of standards that we play by.
That
as
could
opposed
be,
to
but
normal
is that
streamers.
the case? Is that the procedure?
You're the one making the claim, Mike, not me. So I don't know. You tell me. You're the one that feels.
So you're saying a Gmail account that doesn't even have a name attached to it.
Firstly, okay, you're throwing in a ton of stuff that you don't know. You don't know if they're. Firstly, a DMCA can come from.
I'm the one who got it. You got banned before. What happened when you got banned? I've
gotten banned as well. But firstly,
what happened? What did it look like in your ban email?
You're so fucking stupid.
You're fucking
Number
stupid.
One,
you can't
no.
understand a very simple.
Okay, hold on. Here's the question: Can a DMCA come from a Gmail account? Yes or no? Yes. So don't bring it up as an example.
Answer the fucking question, Mike.
No. So number one, yes, a legitimate DMCA can come from a Gmail account. Firstly. Secondly, do you know if all of the information from a DMCA is forwarded when you get DMCA? Do you know that as a fact?
No, of course it's not.
So you have literally no evidence. So why would you bring up?
File a counterclaim? By the way, Destiny, what happens when you file a counterclaim when you think that you have been improperly DMCA'd? What information do you have to provide?
You provide as much information as the claimant does. When you file a counterclaim, you have to provide your information, and you have to surrender penalty of perjury that you have the rights to use that content.
Now, okay, so here's the problem. You have to provide. Now, you either have to get an agent,
okay,
and so or a lawyer, and then you can provide their physical address, their phone number. But if you're a smaller streamer and you don't have a legal team, you have to provide your name, your physical address, your personal phone number, because the way the DMCA works is when you file counterclaims, you win unless they sue you within 14 days.
Yep.
And so what you're saying is I should have to provide this information or have legal representation so that...
How else are you supposed to file a counterclaim? Yeah, of course. What do you mean? What's the alternative?
Of course I'm going to file the counterclaim, but the point is that Twitch does not have to accept obviously fraudulent or questionable DMCA claims.
Nothing that you said so far makes it obviously fraudulent. And also, this is the precedent in
you think NBC has a Gmail account which they're making DMCA claims with? Really?
Possible? You don't know that, do you? So
I'm absolutely certain.
You're absolutely certain. Are you a fucking psychic? And a lawyer? Holy shit!
Because wait, do you think NBC has legal representation with somebody with a Gmail account? Maybe you're so disconnected from corporate America and the legal field that you think that's a real thing. You must be stupid to think
I would agree that it's not standard. However, it is entirely possible that a guy used his personal account that somebody else, because guess what? The person that owns the intellectual property themselves doesn't have to file the DMCA. It could be a representative, or it could be somebody with express permission to. That could be a case as well. Now, I don't know why they use a Gmail account. It could also be fake. If it's fake, then you have a process for getting rid of that claim.
Yeah, but the presumption is that you are. Jesus Christ! No one's saying that if Turner Broadcasting, when they got you banned, for example, sending from their anti-piracy email, attaching the corporation's name to it, shouldn't have an expeditious process. What we're saying is that troll claims shouldn't just be accepted from an automated perspective.
If you're on Twitch's end, would you risk...
Gentlemen.
What if you're on Twitch's end and all of a sudden, on one night, you get like 150 DMCA claims and you don't have the staff to process those in an expeditious manner? Would you ever fucking risk losing your safe harbor protection? Which, to remind the audience, if you lose safe harbor protections, what that means is that you can be sued for hosting copyright infringing content, which means your entire business is fucking destroyed. This is what Twitch was worried about when there were legal provisions being discussed in Europe about being able to...
No legal process would have to be less than 48 to 72 hours.
Yes, and let's say that you get thousands of DMCA claims in a single day.
That would be a great defense if you were sued. Like how?
Okay, guys, I want to involve the rest of the panel here.
That's not a good defense.
You're literally okay. So wait. Let me get this straight. Twitch.
Turn your volume down. It's very loud.
Oh, yeah,
Mike, the only reason you give a shit about this is because you were a victim of it once and now you think it's such a big fucking issue, dude. You don't want to accept the fact that Twitch is defenseless here, just like every other major tech platform, and they can't do fucking anything. And yeah, if you want to make the point that something legally should change, I get that. But quit acting like Twitch needs to change something because there's a reason why no one else has done anything. I mean, it's not going to work.
I'm more intrigued in this fucking bizarre claim that you seem to know that it was a member of Destiny's community that did it to you. This is
let's talk about the irresponsible.
Okay, hold on, Central. Hold on. Yes, thank you, Richard, for taking us there. Hold on, Mike. Can I talk about what you have said? That you have a hunch that the DMCA claim was manufactured from Destiny's community. Is that true?
Okay. Here's what I'll say. It's Occam's razor, but there's no, at this point, definitive proof. Now, when I have it...
Well, could you say that again? It's what? Explain what Occam's razor is, please.
So the simplest explanation, all things being equal, is probably true.
Okay.
So that's the case. So if you look at Destiny himself was restreaming the debate, and he's was a much larger channel than we are. Plenty of other people in multiple categories, both just chatting and politics, were restreaming the debate. And yet only me and Bad Bunny, who's been brought up on this stream like 10 times when she's not here.
Twice.
By MindWaves and Destiny. Interesting.
So you think it was a hit?
So here's two other.
Hold on, Destiny. Let him finish. Let him finish, and then go.
And so it's just so interesting that
the amount of assumptions.
Hold on, MindWaves. Let him finish, and then you guys can go in. Drake,
so
please.
So right
let him
now,
finish.
there's reasonable suspicion for an investigation. That's all. Not that I know definitively. I never claimed that Destiny instructed people to do it. I never claimed.
You said that anybody with a brain could connect the dots. That's what you said.
That it comes from your community. Yeah.
Okay, so don't sit here. So again, you're doing the thing where you're like, well, I'm not saying it happened exactly, but anybody with a brain could figure it out. Here's two other possible explanations. One, or here's three actually. One, maybe there are other people who just really fucking hate you and Bad Bunny. That's entirely possible. Both of you are very fucking hateable people. Two, maybe somebody in your community.
He's not obsessed.
What the?
He's not obsessed.
Two, maybe somebody in your community did it for a fucking false flag. Not very likely, but it could have happened. Or three, you two were the only people that were restreaming the debate that were large in the politics section. My stream was unlisted, as were other people's streams, and other people were listed in the just chatting section and under the Minecraft section. You and Nicole were the only two listed in politics. Maybe NBC went to the politics section and they DMCA'd people that they found there.
Now,
any of those explanations.
When CNN DMCA'd, did they catch people doing
NBC,
Minecraft? Did they? I'm just.
NBC?
No, they're not. But this is the previous time where it actually happened.
Okay, in that case, the bans were incredibly random. Some people got banned, some people didn't. There was no rhyme or reason for it. I don't think David Pacman, I don't think got DMCA'd on Twitch. I don't think Chapo Trap House or the Sam Cedar and them got DMCA'd, but me and Hassan and Trihex did. I don't know how they did.
They did.
Everybody did not. I know that for a fact. Are you claiming otherwise?
No, there were multiple different debates with multiple different.
During the DMCA, the CNN DMCA.
There were two CNN debates. You got banned in the first one. They got banned in the second one.
Oh, okay, maybe in the second one they did it. Okay.
But
the thing is that any of the four explanations I gave, any of them could be true. We have no evidence for any of them. Okay. You in your chat literally said it was 100% DGG.
Oh, bless
and you based that off of your tweet replies.
That's not at all true.
Okay, here, Raj, here is a screenshot. Raj, on stream.
I literally said
you are such a spineless fuck. You will not
didn't say that,
did he? Okay, this is the ultimate tip of cryptic.
I said it was 100%
DGG. Go look at the replies.
Okay, hold on.
On stream, Raj.
Hold on, Mike. Hold on, Mike. Can you verify that these DMs are legitimate? Did you say that?
Pull it up. Pull it up on the stream.
Willfully stupid.
Did you say
Destiny
this, Mike?
wants the evidence shown.
Mike, check your DM. Hold on, Mike. Mike from PA, shut your mouth for a second.
Order.
Thank you, Mike. I gave you some DMs. Are these DMs doctored or are they legitimate? Before you move forward.
Okay. First of
Okay.
Let me finish the sentence.
Okay.
I said it was 100% DGG.
Okay.
Go look at the replies, and then I continued to discuss it. Exactly the same logic I laid out. Now, does that mean? What does DGG mean?
I said it. Okay, cool.
It means Destiny's community.
Okay.
Destiny's community.
So this
doesn't mean Destiny. It doesn't mean everybody participated in it. It means a fan of his took it upon themselves to do this, and we know this because there's a pattern of behavior. I talked about with you with Raj.
Okay. Firstly, wait, before this, I want to know we are pivoting the game, by the way.
Hold on.
Raj, I'll let him speak. I just want people to see that he is again pivoting away from that 100% claim.
I will.
It was absolutely true. But
thank you, Senator from Nebraska. We will get back to that point. Go ahead, Central Committee, please.
We're pivoting again.
Senator from Nebraska, please let him finish his point. We'll get back to it.
The reason that we believe this to make sense, besides it being pretty clear from who was targeted, is there is a pattern of behavior. For example, Destiny feuded with this Twitter personality, the Squirrel, or I don't even, and MCA claims against her.
Mike, I think
so. Two questions. Wait, no, two questions because he brought it up.
And,
were any of
and
those
then his community went and DMCA'd all sorts of videos that were not related to Destiny, so she would have to take her Twitter account down.
How do you know it's his community, mate?
Firstly,
are you some sort of fucking fighter?
Because it just spontaneously happened all at once to the same person?
No, mate. No, you're not some sort of.
And this is the guy
you can't blame
claiming
you can't
Occam's
blame
razor.
a community without having
claiming
hardcore
Occam's
evidence.
razor.
Everything is based on an assumption, Mike.
You can't
shit.
assume
And
that.
that's not.
You can't assume. I'm
So
sorry.
you're saying that you think Destiny put out a hit on your channel?
Were any of my DMCA claims illegitimate, Mike? Do you think so?
What? Well, why don't you pull them all up? Review all of them. We'll go over them.
Sure. Every single DMCA claim I made is when somebody ripped a segment from my stream and tweeted it verbatim without any added content whatsoever. One.
Was there
two,
was there anything on the tweet? Was it a blank tweet, or did the tweet have replies? Was there a comment?
The tweet had replies, but that doesn't count as transformative content.
Can we pull up the tweet?
Critique or commentary from a clip, and say you have a video clip and you type something about that clip, that's critique. And if
Firstly,
the entire
you cannot-
fucking stream, that's not stealing their stream.
Firstly, you
Otherwise,
have no idea.
half your content wouldn't be permissible.
You have
that's
no
fair
idea
use. That's critique
what
and
fair use
commentary.
means. You are embarrassingly out of your depth here, okay? You are embarrassingly out of your depth. So number one,
I want to get you in here, Tree, if you want to talk.
Wait, number one,
copyright
we're talking
attorney
about
in here.
posting a clip verbatim. Just because you type some text around it, you have not changed the original work that is being lifted.
yeah.
Two, you can absolutely
have provided
this
critique
this
and commentary
never-
on
this
the
has
thing. You're
never-
allowed to do
this-
that.
You have to do it within that content. So, for instance, I couldn't just host an entire fucking an entire football game, an entire NFL game on a website, and then type around it, and then say, "Well, that's."
But you could clip a. You could clip a play. You could clip a play, and then
$500.
Play the clip.
Wait, $500 online right now. You think that you could clip part of an NFL game, put it on Twitter, and then type commentary around it, and you won't get DMCA'd for it? A 40-second or 50-second clip of a football game or UFC match. You think you could get away with that and not get DMCA'd?
I hope it's true. I've done that.
Central Committee.
Connection here, or
yeah, yeah, it's you. I think your OBS. I think your OBS is taking up a lot of your processor.
That might be it. That might be. Okay, hold on. Let me fix
the Occam's razor explanation, Raj?
That would be a good Occam's razor right there. Here, let me fix that.
It could be that my community is DDoSing his connection because I think that's the Occam's
It's a
razor.
hit. So you admit that it's a hit.
Okay.
All right. It could be.
Was that an admittance?
I mean, ultimately, like, so Destiny, you actually assert that you're an expert on fair use doctrine?
I have to know a lot about it because it's my job. Yes.
So you're
saying you would never watch a video or clip on your stream and you providing critique or commentary would not be a valid defense.
So firstly,
anytime you play a YouTube video or anything on your
I don't
stream,
know if that would hold up as fair use, Mike. I don't know if that would hold up as fair use. People do get DMCA'd for stuff like that.
Okay, well, if you go look at the court cases, they do hold up. As long as
no, they don't. Firstly,
yes, they do.
You're
yes,
such a
do.
lying piece of shit. Firstly, there's only been one major court case.
I'll give you one right now.
I literally had Leonard French on my fucking stream, and we talked about fucking copyright, okay? And he's like the guy on the internet that does this shit. The only major court case that this had to do with was H3H when they went to court against the other company that filed against them, but that was because their entire work was highly transformative. Number one. Number two, you cannot find me a single fucking court case where a streamer or a YouTuber has taken a company or a Twitter user or whatever has taken a major company to court and won a court case stealing their copyright. It has never happened. That's not true. That is absolutely not true. Why would you even pretend like it's true? Who the fuck do you think you're talking to right now?
That's not what I claimed. That's not what I fucking
Wait,
claimed.
what did you just claim? It sounded like you said this has held up in court before.
You said you're not a major company. It was about you. Somebody took a small clip of your stream and then provided commentary on it.
They didn't in the medium
use.
that it was cut from. Within the medium that it was cut from, they did not. So, for instance, if I
you don't have to use the same medium to provide critique, dumb fuck.
Otherwise, you're lifting the content 100% without making it transformative. Whether or not work is transformative, whether or not you've added enough content to it to change the nature of the work. I know you're getting upset.
You need to bring on some copyright lawyers.
Sure. I wonder.
Where's lecture
Do we have any copyright lawyers in the chat who can attest that we can bring on?
So my position that is true, legal or not, my position that is true is that this has never been tested in court before, but people get DMCA'd over stuff like this all the time. That's my position. No one has ever taken somebody to court on a counterclaim on a DMCA thing and has won because, well, I clipped 45 seconds of the clip, and even though I didn't add anything to the video, I typed a tweet around it. But that argument in and of itself is ridiculous. Could I rehost a song on a website and then type a review beneath that song?
If it was the entire song, no. But if it was a 20-second thing to prove a point for educational purposes or to critique it, you absolutely could.
But would the original rights holder still be within their right to DMCA you because you are?
If they did, that would be a bad DMCA claim. That would be violating fair use.
But you can't show me any court cases. But you've never shown me any court. There's never been a court case where somebody has won something counterclaiming to this. It's never happened.
No, but I thought if you made a DMCA claim, all you are saying is that I'm the copyright holder. You don't present an argument up front saying I don't believe that work is transformative or not. They have to say it's transformative or it's commentary and critique in the counterclaim. All you're saying as a DMCA filer is I own that. I made that.
But the reason why DMCA claims can be abused is because if you're somebody who's trying to remain anonymous or protect your identity in any way, you can't file a counterclaim because you're required to provide all your personal information so you can be served with a court case. So that's
in order for you to, so firstly, there are ways to get around that. Easy ways.
There are ways, and I'm getting around them right now, which is what I'm going to be filing all these things.
So firstly, there are very easy ways to get around that. So that's telling that to be some big deal. Secondly, the person that files the claim has to give all of their information as well. That's how fucking court systems work. You can't file a counterclaim and say, my name is... What?
But I just said the purpose for when it's abused. When somebody, for example, if somebody is an anonymous poster on Twitter and they want to keep their identity a secret, if you file a DMCA claim against them, they can't counterclaim without revealing their identity.
Sounds like they shouldn't steal people's content.
Okay, guys, I want to get more people involved in this. MindWaves, can we get comment on some people that haven't been involved in the conversation on MindWaves? Do you have a take on what Mike alleging that?
No, I just think the only thing in this conversation that has me amused is every time Mike tries to apply Occam's razor, but everything that he says is based on conspiracy. But
highly conspiratorial.
Yeah.
What's the conspiratorial? What's the conspiracy?
That my community is like going out and trying to file false DMCA claims when all you have to do is
have they done that before?
No, never. I am not aware of that ever happening. Can you tell me where that's happened before?
That claim was made during the squirrel
incident.
The
answer is no. No, I filed those DMCAs myself. Or
all
I had
of
a manager
them?
do it.
All
yes.
of them?
Yes.
Yeah.
I literally told my guy.
DMCA claims on anything else.
Not that I've ever been aware of. I mean, I'm not going to say that there's never been one made in my name because I don't know that, but I've never heard of it before. No, I've never heard of that. And you can give me an example as well. But no, I literally had my community say like, hey, if you've seen her rehost fucking clips of my shit, let me know. They fucking fed it to me. I gave it to a manager, a guy that had authorization to represent me, and we filed DMCA claims against all the videos. Not the tweets themselves, but against the videos rehosted in those
To put it in context, Mike, like Destiny's fucking community fucking hates my ass, right? And when me and him were fucking beefing.
Do they?
Yeah, fuck yeah. And when me and him were beefing, there was probably his opportunity. Shit, I even argued with him over this DMCA shit as it relating to Sargon of Akkad. That was one of the reasons why we fell out. I thought Destiny's DMCA was a little bit egregious and not fair. And it turned out, again, having gone and read up on it, he was well within his rights to do it. So, but the reality is, the worst that I ever got was like people tweeting abuse at me, telling me I'm an asshole. People make fucking threads about me on his fucking subreddit, which is ridiculous. It's the same names that it's been for about 5 fucking years. You know, he has got some obsessive freaks over there, but they could have DMCA'd me. I do a podcast that includes clips and footage of other people. I never had a false DMCA claim from anything pertaining to Destiny's community.
So
it
because
just
it didn't happen to you.
Yeah, but hang on. But you're saying because it happened
100%.
to you.
You're saying
you're saying because it happened to you, it must be Destiny's community, and there's a pattern of behavior. I'm telling you that actually no, that pattern of behavior thing's nonsense. The example you gave was Destiny himself doing it. Now, if you want to be all lawyerish about it and say, oh, it was actually fucking Destiny is part of Destiny's community, fine, you win, rules lawyer. But everything else you're saying is conspiratorial garbage. You've got no proof.
I really like that, Raj. I
Okay,
really like that.
The problem here is how the problem here is how insanely damaging this is, because you're basically making a claim against me that's going to incite all of your communities, who, by the way, have already said they want to mass report my fucking shit. Okay, you're going to get these people.
Which I'm am I not one of the people who said don't do that?
That's fine that you said it. Oh,
don't do it, Kappa.
So you're accusing my community.
What if you said it that didn't mean
Hold on.
it?
Same logic applies.
What if you said it?
Order. Wait, have I ever called on my community to DMCA anybody? So why are you using that as a defense for you? Apparently that's not enough. Okay, so shut the fuck up. Okay, this is the idea that your community could do it, because now you said, well, look, Destiny's fake DMCAing my stuff. I know 100% that his community is doing it. You don't know that 100%. Pretty much every single claim you've made here is totally fucking fabricated, okay, or have to at best. So you don't know that at all. You've indicted my community 100%. Other people, like Al, I'll just say that so I don't name the whole name, have said they will try to mass report me for any perceived infringement that they see. So how can you possibly not think that this is an incredibly irresponsible thing for for you earlier to say, aren't you scared we're going to live in a world where everybody's going to DMCA each other? That's exactly the kind of world you're creating with this type of argument.
Go ahead, Central Committee. You want care to respond?
I mean, like, it's amazing how he can flip on both sides of the argument. It's incredibly dangerous for me to point out the blindingly obvious fact that the people that were targeted were the people actively involved.
We're the only two in the politics section, by the way.
That's not true. Every other streamer on the front page of the politics section practically had that debate stream.
Hassan was under Just Chatting. Pixie was under Just Chatting.
I remember the politics section because I was.
What was the next highest viewer?
What was it?
Yeah, you were the number one, and who was number two?
Bad Bunny was.
Yep, and who was number three?
Number three, there was like people with hundreds of viewers that were right below us on that same front page and this top line that you could have easily been. So it's just really, you'd have to be kind of comically stupid to think that only us got banned, but they couldn't find any other stream with it.
Now hold on. Really? Just out of curiosity.
So in my community, real quick, people saying number 3 had like 20 viewers, by the way. But okay.
So just out of general curiosity, Destiny, were you doing anything different than Destiny was doing, Mike?
Yeah, I was unlisted.
Destiny had a different category.
Okay, and you were in politics?
No, I was under no category. I was unlisted.
Okay, you were unlisted. I think Hassan wasn't actually restreaming it, but there was a bunch of other people streaming. Like, we're talking about dozens of people blasting it out there. Destiny was blasting it out there.
Central Committee, I think it's obvious that you were targeted. I don't think it was a random ban on you like it was shit in the past, but I don't think it's fair for you to make an absolute claim that it was Destiny. I think that's where you overstepped.
I didn't
because
say
you
it was
hate
Destiny.
the fucking kid because he's ripped your fucking heart out in debate so many times because you're an idiot.
Oh, please.
Jesus Christ, Wes.
But I mean, look, it's a spot on assessment actually from Wes. It's like, think about all of the fucking shit that like you and the person who we can't name because they're not here, because that's a new fucking rule on Rajj Royale today for some reason, right? Like, think of all the people you were fucking pissed off with your fucking nonsense. It isn't
like
just the T.GG community. What do you mean, like who? Right? You are standing up for somebody that has said they wouldn't have sex with black people, for fuck's sake. Like, do the fucking math. Like, think about how many people that would piss off, potentially, on the internet.
It would piss me off.
Oh, Lewis, not all black people, just bisexual, transsexual black
people. Jesus, man. Get a fucking grip. Like,
so again, why are you trying to hold me responsible for other people's comments?
No, because...
No, I'm not trying to hold you responsible for
I know
other
you're
people's
the
comments.
same person.
I'm saying you're a fucking hypocrite because you call out
black
less, and you will stand by somebody that says something that is unbelievably racist, inarguably racist.
Who says racist shit.
Central Committee.
Do you disavow her for saying that?
Yeah, well, you disavow those comments then. Get used to it.
He made a claim against
political man.
He made a claim against me, which is, what do I believe about people changing their position? For example, Destiny believes you should be able to use the N-word in private chats. Now, I think that's a morally bankrupt position and a bad position. But if tomorrow he said, you know what? I changed my mind. Don't use the N-word. I've done it in the past, but I now realize how much harm it causes by reinforcing stereotypes. It's not all that funny. If he ever changed his mind, let me finish. I'm almost done. If he ever changed his mind and he said he was sorry for it and he promised to change, that would be the end of the topic for me.
Wow, even if they
Would
never
God
changed
forgive him?
and they got caught doing it months later.
Now, I'm telling you, not after they talk to me. I mean, like, that's where my relationship with someone starts. If you have your own, you're free to have your own opinion. If you want to believe people can never change, that's on you. If you want to believe that people should be held accountable for everything they said going back as far as we can find it, that's on you. I believe that people should be able to rehabilitate themselves.
There was 14 pages of this individual using the N-word released like weeks. Like, what is it?
Say one thing, dude. You're only
this is not ancient history, my friend. This isn't 10-year-old tweets.
No, I say it about someone you politically disagree with. You would never fucking give them another chance. You just want that sweet, sweet kitty, so that's why you suddenly are giving her 14
Can we get some squad W's in the chat? Can we get squad W's?
Just be real with it, man. I respect the fuck out of you saying, hey, I'll just
answer the question, Mike.
Why would he own up to that when he's never owned up to anything in his life?
Is that true or false? Answer the question, Mike. Answer this one question.
That's fucking ridiculous. How many people here admit to using the F slur sometime in the past who don't do it anymore?
Oh, I still do it.
Yeah, I used to.
Yeah, I'm like,
Well, Wes, I wouldn't like you because I think you're a piece of shit.
Yo, that was called a joke.
I know. Well,
even though I used to I didn't have like 70 pages of me saying on my Discord.
Are you sure?
Are you? I'm sure. I'm pretty sure because I stopped saying it in 2013. Holy shit. Or I like made a really big effort.
But
it's all right, guys. She's changed in the last 3 months.
That was
all right. She's changed in the last 3 months. Yeah.
Oh yes. Okay. All right.
Wait. What?
So there's a word and it's called. I don't even know if it's racist, but it's the G word. What is that?
Just say it. I'll give you the G pass for this one. Okay.
Wait. Is it a racial slur?
Out. No, not according to some people.
It's not.
Not according to some people.
It won't. You're fine.
He's talking about the term Gusano.
Yeah, that's what it is, right? I don't know if it's a racial slur.
It's not just for Cubans, but
it's
not just for
Cubans. Oh my God,
it's a G word. Okay, so the question is, does anybody think that this is a racist word?
I don't know what it means, mate. I don't know what it means.
Okay, so let me explain.
I've not seen the word.
If you're arguing with somebody who is you perceive
gay
to the right of you,
Minx, come on.
What you can do is, if you know their background, if you know, for instance, that they're Cuban or from some Latin American country, you can say, you're just a Gusano. The implication being that you had wealthy family in your ancestry that are salty that like a socialist regime change happened in their country. That's what it means when you call someone a Gusano. You're making fun of them because you think that maybe somebody back in their family can explain their current political views today.
Yeah, I thought it just meant they were like a traitor during the Cuban Revolution.
Kind of, yeah.
You're like exactly what it means.
So it's not only racial, but it's also political. I mean,
it's not racial.
It's not racial.
How is
it's based. You wouldn't say it to like a normal white guy. You would say this to somebody that you know has like ancestry that makes it relevant.
Man, I don't think anybody knows what it means.
Can I give you an example? And I think Destiny will probably be consistent on this. Another phrase will be Uncle Tom, right?
So the difference between
Destiny,
Uncle
would
Tom,
you say that saying to a black person they're an Uncle Tom is a racist term?
It could be seen that way, sure. But regardless of how you feel about these two words...
No, don't pivot. Don't slide around. Answer the question
Okay,
directly.
now hold on, Mike.
It really depends on the type of...
Is it a racist term?
Sure. So if you say that somebody's opinion is wrong on the basis of their race, some people might consider that a racist term. Other people might say that there might be times where it's justified to use a word like this that has a racial connotation, but isn't necessarily racist. There are two different arguments there, okay? I fall on the side that I don't think it's necessarily a racist term. Other people do. However, there's a difference between Gusano and Uncle Tom. The difference being that Uncle Tom applies to a...
That's
I can explain it. Yeah, it's okay. I can explain it. Don't worry. Yeah, I am. So the difference between Uncle Tom and Gusano is Uncle Tom says that a person right now has some political belief that is contrary to their existence right now. Would be for
That's
Uncle
what
Tom.
Gusano is used for too.
No, that doesn't make sense. Mike, hold on. Let me finish.
People that are right-wingers, reactionaries,
traitors. No. It's used to describe somebody whose family might have had a vested interest in political positions based on their country of origin. You don't call me a Gusano because I'm white and you perceive me as having some right-leaning beliefs. It's because you say that my family were either slave owners or that they had some ancestry in Cuba that was displaced because of Fidel Castro. That's what it's about. No, you can't tell me no. That's what Gusano means. That's what it means.
Relax. Don't get so moldy because you got caught.
I'm not moldy. I didn't get caught on anything. But go ahead.
Listen, I don't use the phrase. Now, if someone of Cuban descent who was on my show called you a Gusano, now, I, like you, was a white guy who never would use the term. I would use the term like scab or rat or something like that. That would be the term that I would use.
Sure.
And so, like, I don't think it's racist for somebody who is of Cuban descent to call someone else of Cuban descent a Gusano. And from what I've heard in a lot of Latin communities, it's used to describe people who are traitors to movements or largely just describing right-wing reactionaries, sort of like we would use the phrase redneck.
Sure, but that's within the first. Okay, there's two big problems.
I don't think it's a racist term. I think it's a political term.
Two big problems.
Or maybe a cultural term.
Two big problems. It's clearly not just political because you just said that people in Latin America say it. So clearly it has something to do with your ethnicity / nationality.
It's a Spanish word. Of course someone would use a Spanish word who's got a Spanish background. And I don't use it.
Okay, and comrade is a French word, not an English word like you earlier said.
It's been an English word since like 1600.
Okay, but it has an origin as a French word. We don't look at language like this. We don't analyze the etymology of a word to find out whether or not it's a racial slur. The fact of the matter is,
it comes from the 50s, so I mean it's possible it's come into it.
The fact of the matter is that you wouldn't just call a random white person a Gusano. You would say it to somebody if you knew their national or ethnic background because you thought you could get one over on them, right? That's the whole point. Secondly, your chat called me a Gusano over 300 times in our conversation because I checked the logs. Are all of those people Cuban? Because you didn't seem to have a problem with it then.
No, I mean, listen, I wouldn't. It's sort of like the phrase Uncle Tom, which I think you kind of understand as is.
Why are you pivoting?
Probably.
Why are you pivoting from the 2 points?
I asked you a question. I asked you a word that's
okay. So okay,
well, you boys and your
it's not identical. It's not identical.
Casey's so high she never makes it this
The
far.
difference would be if I called you an Uncle Tom because you had an ancestor that was black. That would be the difference. There's a level of removal.
Nobody's calling you an uncle. No one's calling you Gusano because of your ancestors. They're calling you Gusano because of your right-wing views on shit.
No, what? Oh, okay. Hold on. Wait, do you think that people just randomly started calling me Gusano and Esteban? You don't think people said that because I have Cuban background? Are you fucking serious right now?
I mean, listen, dude. You're,
oh my! He can't admit it. You're such a slimy Weasley little.
I'm not a slimy. I'm
just asking
you to defend other people's shit. Here again,
look at
you can't deal with what I do. You have to go talk. You have to.
Hilarious.
You have to bring up somebody else's words. Why are you bringing up somebody else's words? Why don't you deal with what I'm doing? Why do you pivot to what other people do?
Okay, now you can't.
Just told me that the reason why people call me Gusano is it's just a random thing they say to random white guys. But that's not true. It originated, from what I can tell, maybe there was a farther back origin, but Hassan's subreddit started calling me a Gusano because they apparently found out my mom is a fucking conservative in the U.S., which still has nothing to do with her background as being a Cuban.
So now I'm supposed to defend Hassan or understand that Hassan's community fucking lore.
You don't have to defend. You don't have to defend that lore. You told me earlier that it's okay if a Cuban calls another Cuban a Gusano. Okay. Firstly, also, by the way, I think it's funny that you consider me a Cuban because earlier you were arguing that Cuban is a nationality, not an ethnicity. Seems like you've gone back to saying it's an ethnicity now, which is funny, okay? But you said that firstly, and then secondly, you're ignoring the fact that your chat called me Gusano over 300 times. You don't know if those people are Cuban or not.
No, actually, no. This is actually a good point because this is. I know you'll think that you scored a big point, but this is how my community works. People came to me and said, "Hey, Mike, I am uncomfortable with the Gusano thing," and you know what? I was like, you know what? After all, I wouldn't like it if people were saying Uncle Tom all the time on my stream either. So we're gonna cut that out because I don't like it. Now, as opposed to you, when somebody came to you and said, I'm uncomfortable with using the phrase the N-word in private, when one of your close friends did that, you said, fuck you, I'm gonna do whatever I want. People came to me and said, hey, Mike, I'm uncomfortable with this being used, especially in the context it's being used. And I said, you know what? I don't want to have a community where people throw around terms like that. The reason why I brought up Uncle Tom is because I thought clearly they're very related in the sense
they're not. They're different.
They're describing somebody who has a right-wing belief, and you're talking about someone being a traitor to their community.
Uncle Tom doesn't mean that at all. In fact, like the Uncle Tom is inarguably a more racist term, not just because it's evocative of slavery, but also because what it's saying is it's a slave that is overly affectionate to the people. Yeah, exactly.
Master.
So it directly goes to the heart of slavery in America. Mm-hmm. Like Gusano is talking about people that for political gain decided to betray class causes to benefit themselves in a familial sense.
So you would say that Gusano is less offensive than Uncle Tom?
Well, I would definitely say Gusano is less offensive than Uncle Tom, absolutely. I suggest if you do your own exercise, walk into a black neighborhood and call a black person an Uncle Tom and see how it pans out.
No, I agree with you 100%. I agree with you 100%, but I'm also saying that I'm not really happy with Gusano being used in my community, and this is
I'm glad. Hey, that's fine. If you keep around on that, then that's good. Then we're good. All right.
But
what's the next topic?
I don't want to see Destiny up here, Mr. N-word Andy using Uncle Tom.
Firstly, hold on.
We have context here where everybody agrees that Uncle Tom is probably worse than Gusano.
But you're claiming that he
conversation. You're calling me N-word Andy. If I was having a conversation where people in my chat were spamming N-words or whatever at people, I would fucking ban those people. In your chat, over 300 times. No, I don't have to do anything, Mike. I have my own fucking chat and my own fucking community. Don't tell me I have to do shit, okay? I'm not a little whatever. No,
You're not the boss.
I don't have to do anything, okay? I do what the fuck I want to do, okay? Number one. Number two, you had no problem when everybody in your chat was fucking spamming it at me. These two are not comparable things. If I have a position or whatever on how I act in private, that's not the same as endorsing my community to call somebody something. That's a totally fucking different argument.
I'll be honest, I don't even know what half these words meant until today.
Which word?
It's an educational stream.
Just all these words, like all these
we're
learning.
We're learning a lot about. This is kind of a very American.
Yeah, I don't want to learn about bad words.
I'm sorry about that.
I just didn't know them. I was better off not knowing what these words meant.
Okay. Yeah. Tree, did you want to chime in at all?
About what?
Anything.
Tree, what do you think about Uncle Tom? Do you think that's a racist term?
It has nothing to do with Gusano, is what you're saying. I mean, you can't make it the same equivalence. It's a false equivalency.
Yeah, I think Uncle Tom is worse, but do you think Uncle Tom is racist? Like, if a white person calls a black person Uncle Tom, is that really racist?
Destiny, would you like to defend how it's not racist?
So my arguments for this is that I think that there needs to be some way to discuss tokenism in certain communities. So for instance, the same way that Milo Yiannopoulos can be like, so I use Uncle Tom as an example, like the gay Uncle Tom for conservatives, or the way that Blair White can be like the trans token for conservatives or whatever. Like there is like a performative nature to some people that will run contrary to their communities that I think needs to be identified. Now, Uncle Tom can be used in incredibly racist ways. If you want to just say like, you're a fucking Uncle Tom because you disagree with me, that's not okay, right? That's fucked up. And there are people that do that for sure. So like, I think it can go both ways. Maybe there needs to be like another word that you use instead of Uncle Tom because of how like charged it is.
Destiny, why do you think we need these outliers and we need like a term to identify them?
Because it's an important thing to identify, because it's a real thing that happens, and it's important to be, because when you have to identify a concept in order to know how to like combat it, I guess I would say.
So do you think being an Uncle Tom is an issue? Like when
So I want to get away from using Uncle Tom, but tokenism is an issue. So for instance, if I say, for instance, to conservatives, like, okay, there's a huge problem with the way that you guys approach gay people. And they're like, first of all, that's not true. I just know gay people are lazy. But hey, Milo Yiannopoulos says it, and he's gay. Well, fuck. I mean, like, holy shit. Okay. I mean, he is gay and he does says it. Well, right? If you've never identified the idea that tokens exist, then you're kind of like at a loss for words for how to deal with a problem like that. So I think it's important to be able to identify tokenism. Yes.
And to back that up more, there's a pattern of behavior in conservative circles of propping up these like outlier people that are not representative of a larger community and making them seem like they're spokespersons of that.
Yes, of course. That's
like,
the
for
whole
example,
point
like
of
Diamond
them.
and Silk, right? Like Diamond and Silk goes to these Trump rallies and says how black people are lazy.
That's the whole point. Is they use that as a point to contradict what everyone else is trying to make as reasonable.
So you could say that we shouldn't call them Uncle Toms, that we should call them tokens. But like if you call a black person a token, like Diamond and Silk, they're gonna say, oh, so you're saying an Uncle Tom. They're basically gonna say you're saying it. Like
they think you're like calling them a token black guy from South Park.
Because of the fact that it is evocative of slavery, I think Uncle Tom's one of those terms where I wouldn't feel comfortable calling a black person an Uncle Tom at all. I would totally shelve that linguistically. But I also do think it's like it's not just the tokenism that's the issue. It's the fact that when you say Uncle Tom, you're saying the person is actually going against their self-interest as well. It's got that component to it, that facet to the language. So when you have, it was actually a psychological term. There's something called Uncle Tom syndrome. They probably got rid of that and put that by the wayside, but it was used in psychology as well. But I just think overall, anything that is evocative of the slavery period, if you're a white person, you want to dialogue with a black person and like, you know what I mean? You're going to use that as an analogy. Linguistically, that doesn't chime with me.
You're not going to get it.
I think it's a racist term, honestly. Right. I think there's no getting away from
that. Okay, we need to wrap this up. We're going to take a vote. TreeOfLogic, let's hear your perspective on it. Virgin and cuck as insults.
Who does that like?
Yeah.
Greek, Tree, go ahead.
No problem with I use it. I don't use virgin as an insult. I say incel instead.
Thank you for your support.
Okay. Destiny, you have recently removed this from your vocabulary. Virgin and cuck from your vocabulary.
Virgin, so I think these are two different. Calling someone a virgin and insult probably isn't good. You probably shouldn't make fun of the fact that somebody can't get laid. I mean, like, it's a proxy for other bad personality traits that you can make fun of.
You don't need to say can't get laid. Maybe someone who just hasn't had their time yet. Let's not put it in a negative light.
So let's continue, Destiny.
I think
that's it. I don't think you should make. I don't think that the fact that somebody's a virgin or whatever, probably not a good reason to make somebody feel bad. Like if there are other people in your audience that are virgins that are like, oh well, fuck, maybe.
Does anybody disagree with that?
I disagree because as long as I'm called a whore and a slut, I'm going to call them virgins and cucks. So I'm going to continue saying it.
Okay.
Sorry, Destiny.
Okay, so you don't use it politically. You don't say lib cucks.
No, I look at the shit. I call a lot of fucking right wingers and white nationalists.
You do use libtard though. You called me a libtard earlier. I remember that.
I know, I sure do, baby. You are my favorite libtard.
Okay, we got the record show.
Yeah.
So, like,
get your votes in.
What's the update on your
It's your civil duty.
Cutting?
Oh really? You play Runescape? Don't tell me you play Runescape.
Of course, Richard.
Well,
Lewis plays
I just
RuneScape.
wanted to get an update for the chat because I know there's a lot of RuneScape fans that are like.
Okay, my update is I'm nearly about to ding. I'm 289 U-logs away from 85 woodcutting.
Wow. Wait, you said you were getting 99 at the beginning of the stream. You know how long it takes from 85 to 99?
Mate, you're not even halfway there.
You're not even. Yeah,
Mate,
93 is halfway there. Thank you.
93, you're halfway there. Yeah, I know what you're saying. But listen, I'm getting 99. It's my goal.
I know, but you made it seem as if there was a party happening in World 17. So now people have been XP wasting in World 17 because your deceptive ass told them that you were about to get 99 woodcutting. The only people getting
Greek, you did do that.
Listen,
only people,
first of all, you guys don't even play RuneScape anymore, so you can't even. You guys are just
92.
failing a game.
Sorry, guys.
What's your woodcutting level? What's your Yeah.
I don't want to talk about it, okay? And
exactly. Destiny, what's your woodcutting
I'll be honest with you. Can I be real with you, Greek? The only 99s that I had were botted, okay? That's it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I bet they were.
I used to use, back a long time ago, this is years ago.
You're gonna get
level on RuneScape, by the way.
No, this is back in
No, it wasn't. It wasn't Destiny.
This is a long time ago. I used to use the Soul Wars bot.
Yep, I cut magic trees. That's right. I did it. I didn't
okay. I bet your I bet your defense level was 99 because you're a white man.
My defense level was 41 because I did the minimum number of quests needed to be a Zerker peer. So suck my fucking dick, Greek.
Okay, so if you're so good at RuneScape, why'd you quit?
Because I realized they're better games. I played the game when I was in 5th grade. I'm done with it now. Okay?
Quitter.
You don't even start here. You're the kind of guy that goes out
RuneScape.
training with his fucking Abbey whip, and you're wondering why you ruined your fucking character 2 days later.
Listen,
you're stupid to watch the level up. That's what you are.
Listen, I'm leveling a main, mate. I don't want to make.
I'm sure you're leveling a main.
Yeah, I am.
You can't
Nobody
click the right attack button on your weapon.
Vote, chat.
Nobody plays
Vote.
RuneScape, Destiny. We have breaks. Everybody who plays RuneScape has long breaks.
Listen,
Nobody
dude, I'm sure you
quits
could like
RuneScape.
Fletch.
That's
There's lots
true.
of ways for people like you to make money, okay? Everybody's important in the RuneScape economy. You could Fletch, you could do herb lore, you could go kill people for, herbs
Stop
and
pretending
shit,
you know what you're talking
You could
about.
go on,
Name 3
what
quests.
other ways?
Vote, chat. Bottom 2 get eliminated. Vote in the
hold
poll.
on. We had to do
Vote
Monkey
in the
Madness.
poll,
Get
chat.
our
Vote for
Pharaoh's
you want to
gloves,
keep,
okay?
not
Go
kick.
on.
Vote, seriously,
go
chat.
hard,
Vote.
okay?
Vote for you want to keep, not kick. It's
Google
important.
it real quick.
I don't remember all the quests, because I'm gonna be
There we
honest, I didn't
go.
do that
There we
quest
go.
shit. I didn't
There
do,
we go.
You had to do whatever quest you had to do
There
for
we
the
go,
Zerker
boys.
Tom, I think. But no, I don't do quests in RuneScape because I don't do fucking quests. That was some fucking sleep stingy content. You know when I did quests?
have to
Quests is
do
when I was
quests.
half awake and I was like, God, I gotta do some real
quests.
dumb shit so that I can wear something important. I did the quest for Barrows because I wanted to be like a fucking a mystic mage at one point before I realized magic was fucking shit. So I did whatever that one is. But you know what? Get the fuck out of here with your dumbass shit.
Hey,
we're not all
pretending
questers
you
here.
play RuneScape, dude.
Yeah, we don't do RuneScape. We don't do PvE content over here, right? Go to
RuneScape,
WoW
yeah, 'cause
Classic.
It's people wide happy.
Destiny, what's your take on it?
Mine is really boring. I think it's going to depend like on how the economy and shit are going. Like things like that, I think are going to determine. Like if the economy is like booming and everybody feels good about it, then Trump is probably going to get in. It's also going to depend a lot on the candidate that makes it in from the Democratic side as well.
Yeah.
Destiny, do you have a disagreement to that?
I mean, I welcome competition between other platforms. I think it's really good. Toast probably got paid a fuck ton of money for it. Probably a good career move for him. Easily enough to retire on. And then more competition between Twitch is something that literally everybody here should want. So yeah.
Destiny, I'll be honest, man. You only got long curly hair because I think you're actually mouthing under that hairline.
Don't look for who is going to win here. I don't want to leak it beforehand.
Let me see that hairline, Destiny. Don't hide it away with your beautiful curls. I know what's under there. There's a big old McDonald's logo.
Wait, am I balding? I don't know. Am I? Do you think I'm balding?
Let me check. Let me see your hairline. You got beautiful curly hair, but I'm pretty sure there might be a little bit of mouth.
I think it's
there.
actually pretty good.
I don't
Is
know.
it good?
I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, he's good. He's good.
Oh, thanks. I don't think there's anything wrong with balding. I'd probably just shave it off if I was. Fuck it. I don't care.
No, but you really do have nice curly hair, though. Seriously, I love curly hair.
Oh, thanks. Do you want to play with it sometime, Greek?
What's that?
Do you want to play with it?
Yeah, of course.
Minx, congratulations! You have won the Rajj Royale podcast.
Are you fucking serious?
Yes.
Minx, you won. Congratulations, me lass.
Destiny, I don't know what to
Yeah,
say.
fucking
They
won.
voted.
Fucking did it for the lasses and the 3 heads.
Destiny,
Your chat is so stupid. I love each other. What?
Destiny, I'm sorry you've lost to Minx. Go ahead and shout out your channel.
No, I don't want to. Fuck you, Raj.
Twitch.tv/Destiny.
I don't want to even know.
Destiny, you lost to me.
Twitch.tv/Destiny.
That's my new follower sound.
Yeah, if you want to watch a loser, then go to twitch.tv/Destiny, boys.
Thank you, Destiny, for coming. Seriously, please go follow Destiny. He is a huge asset. Thank you. Please go follow him, please. Destiny, amazing friend. I just called you an asset. Like my friends are.
I'm used to being treated like that. You just see me and you just see.
Congratulations. How's it feel to be a living legend?
All right.
Hey, get the Irish flag.
All right, go ahead. Thank you, Destiny. Bye, love you.
I'm being actually super uncharitable here because he must acknowledge that there's some level of like racial animosity present in like the criminal justice system or something.